Oh, okay. I'm almost scared. Ooh, baby. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, it's Stephanie. Welcome to my channel and Happy New Year. We've got a couple products today. Clearly one of them is blush. This is a cream blush by Juvia's Place that we will talk about later on. And the other product is a beautiful foundation by Revlon that has been recently released. This is the Illuminance Foundation. It's a skincare foundation. It has squalene and hyaluronic acid and is supposed to improve skin over time. The other product we picked up this weekend is from NYX. This is the Fix Stick. It is a concealer that has just been recently released, so we will be testing this as well. I'm going to demonstrate this in two parts. One part with no color correction, no concealer, just straight on my face and see how it looks. And then the second part with a full face of my regular color correction and concealer and contouring and the things that I normally do, because I want to see how this looks by itself and with a full face of makeup. So let's get started. I had already done a full face of makeup earlier, so what I did was I just washed my face. I kept my eye makeup on, but I washed my face so it was completely clean, and I just moisturized and add a little bit of primer, my NYX Marshmallow Primer. Then I applied the foundation one pump to my fingers, and this I found was the best application. Initially applying it to my face with my fingers and then picking up a damp beauty sponge and working it that way. I found that was absolutely the best application based on what I'd already done. After applying it with the sponge, I did a little review and I decided to add a little bit more to cover some of that darkness under my eyes. So I added just a tiny little dot directly to the sponge and worked it in, and I found that just a little bit more under those areas or where I just wanted a little extra coverage, it worked really well the second pass. This is medium coverage foundation. It is buildable, but it definitely has luminosity, so I was being conservative while still being able to cover the areas on my face sufficiently. I felt like this was good coverage overall and just a nice glow. Really liked it. The last thing I decided to do was just take a oval foundation brush over the surface and just see how it would look, and I think it actually improved it even more. So for color correcting, I'm going to pull out my trusty Stila palette. So I'm going to start out with, I think I'm going to start out with some peach. Take some of that and just warm it up in my fingers. Now my face is very hydrated. I did use a little marshmallow primer. Go in with my finger here. Trying to get the most equitable lighting as I possibly can, you know, so that when I apply the makeup, that it doesn't look shadowy, but also that it's not unrealistic. I really want the lighting to be realistic because the truth of the matter is I'm going to be wearing this makeup out. I want it to look, I don't want it to be overly done or cakey, which sometimes these camera lights can hide some flaws. Speaking of which, if you ever go into Ulta and you buy something and it looks super great in the store, and then you get it home and it looks like crap. You know, they have the lighting in a place like Ulta or Sephora
is intended to just be very flattering, and I can see why. Wouldn't it be nice if, you know, we had flattering lighting, you know, for every situation in life, right? Okay, all right, so I've got that going. I am going to cancel some redness on my nose with a little bit of this green concealer. So speaking of Ulta, I went in because I wanted to pick up some of the new e.l.f. Camo blushes, and they were completely wiped out. There were, I think, 2 or 3 left in the store, and they were the Gorge Orange, which I decided I probably could have picked it up for $7 and just tested it, but I didn't want to put something on my face just to test and then find out I didn't really prefer. You know, if I'm going to buy products, you know, I would like to try to buy something that I think is actually going to be something that I would wear every day. I'm not at the place in this journey where I get PR and things like that. That would be nice. I already have so many things that I wonder if I'm ever going to get to the bottom of. Well, my Stila palette, that's definitely the case with this. I'm going to go ahead and prep my eyes with my Revlon Color Stay Skin Awaken 5-in-1 concealer in this shade Universal Brightening. I use this for eye primer more than I do for regular concealer. Okay, I am going to take this small tapered brush. I use this for concealer. I use it for detail. I use it for all kinds of things. Right now, I am going to use it to apply a little bit of this Fiera setting powder. This is the Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. It has 5% squalene and hyaluronic acid. It is supposed to improve your skin over time. And this is the shade 201 Creamy Natural. I picked it up for $17.99, and you get 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters. So here we go. My sister's doggy, she is 6 months old, and she is so sweet, but she loves to chew things up. She has gotten into my makeup bag and chewed up all of my sponges, so this will be fingers or brush today. So I'm gonna start with just one. That seems like a lot. I'm gonna start with that pump there and move it around. I've been very excited to try this. There are a couple of other products that I wanted to get my hands on, not just the e.l.f., but there is a CoverGirl new skincare foundation that's out that it's just out. It's just, Ulta didn't have it at all. I went out on their website and they had it, but not in not in my shade. So I have not been able to pick it up, but it is a more expensive drugstore foundation. I think it's like $21. What am I going to do with all this foundation that I'm getting just for testing? But okay, so this is supposed to be medium coverage and give it sort of an luminosity sort of finish. So I'm patting it in with my fingers right now. I may end up using a little more. It's covering the green concealer on my face really well. Looks like it's covering the peach. Does it have a smell? It has a slight smell, but nothing obnoxious. It's very faint. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to, So I'm looking in my mirror here, and of course what I can see versus what you can see is slightly different, but when I'm looking in my mirror here, I can tell you that I really, really like the finish. Oh, it's so pretty. It's not too glowy, I don't think. It's not too luminescent. I think it's a nice balance of radiance. If I had a sponge, I would probably be using a sponge. I like to use brushes with more matte or satin, but a sponge with more radiant type foundations. I am wearing color correction, but I still need some concealer. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just a tiny bit more. I'm just gonna use a tiny bit more. Just put some on the back of my hand, I think. Just a little dot there. And I'm gonna pick it up again with this tapered BS Mall brush here. Ooh, so pretty. You can even just see on the back of the hand. Okay, I'm gonna go in here and just see what happens if I just add some more under my eyes. I don't want it to be too shiny under my eyes. I will probably still use some concealer, but I'm gonna just go in and touch up areas. This is medium coverage foundation. For light coverage or just an everyday, not super heavy look, I think this would be really good. But I'm gonna add a little more, about that much more. And oh, I really wish I had a sponge. I'm gonna add to areas that I feel could use a little more coverage. If I had a sponge, I feel like the brush might be shearing it out too much or pushing it around too much. I don't think so, badly. I don't think it's really, I just think a sponge would be good for this. But thanks to that baby girl over there. Earlier I used this flat-faced brush from BS Mall. This time I'm just gonna use an angled brush. I don't think it's quite as dense. Yeah, it's not quite as dense. I found a sponge. Oh, I thought she ate all of it. This is all for testing, right? So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna go over it again a little bit because the brushes removed too much of the product. So first of all, let me just show you the back of my hands. Can you tell the difference? That looks so nice. This is just a really nice foundation. I get really excited about a great foundation. Here we go again, trying it with a sponge. All right, got a damp sponge here, gonna pick it up. Can't find my mirror now. Okay. Yes, ma'am, that is better. That's better. Let's go up here. Okay. Based on my wear test today or my demo today that I've never used this on my face before, I recommend a sponge. Personally, that seems to be working best for me with this foundation. Revlon, you are so good. With all that messing around with my foundation, I think I might need to touch up the color correction. Now I'm going to take this tapered brush again and just go in there very gently. I am now going to pick up this Pro Fix Stick. This is in the shade 02 Fair. And I'm going to tap it around these areas where you know I like to sort of tone down this shadowing. This is a new concealer stick. It's very pigmented. It's from NYX. And oh my goodness, there is some super great drugstore releases out right now. Just super great. If you can get your hands on them. Always loving to try. The shade is important to me, but the blendability and how I'm going to use a damp sponge to blend this and how it sits on my skin so that it's not cakey. I want to reduce those shadows on my face, but I do not want it to look cakey. I hate that. I think we can all attest to that, right? Okay, so blending that in nicely. Anytime I can just fix that shadowing, I will be very, very happy with that. As much as I want to very, very badly right now, I'm not going to contour the rest of my face or my nose because I want to focus on this beauty right here. This is the Juvia's Place liquid blush, and this is in the shade Pink Lady. I've never heard of this. I'd never heard it. I've never seen it. Like I said, I went into Ulta looking for e.l.f. blushes, the camel blushes. There were none, so I just was shopping around, and these caught my eye. This is huge. This was $18. The e.l.f. camel blushes, I'm sure would be awesome for $7, but they didn't have any. So I picked this up and I tested it on my face in the store, and whoa, this is super pigmented, super pigmented. So I'm going to be super careful with this. I had put some on my face, not respecting the power behind this thing was, and I walked up to my sister and I go, look at my face, and she goes, what happened? I mean, it was like, whoa, you just don't need very much of this. So I love pink. I loved every one of their shades, but today we are going to try this. I have not used this on top of any kind of foundation or makeup base at all. So like I said, gotta be really careful. So what I'm gonna do is I am just going to dot. I'm gonna do this 2 different ways because it is so powerful. I'm just going to, oh boy. Look at that doe foot, by the way. That's huge. I'm telling ya. Okay. So I am just going to barely dot right there. Barely. I am going to take this flat angle brush and, oh, okay. I'm almost scared because I saw what happened yesterday. Okay, yeah, it's, woo, baby. Oh yeah, this is, One dot would have been fine. Whew. Okay, so why isn't anybody talking about this? So I looked it up yesterday on YouTube because I'd never heard of it. I didn't hear anybody raving about it, but that's because this is old news. This was released apparently back about 8 months ago. And so, you know, on YouTube or, you know, I'm finding on YouTube. Wow, that's a lot. I may not even have to even, that's a lot. YouTube, TikTok, whatever, Instagram. Once something new comes out, it's like that's all you hear about, and then they move on to the next thing, which, I just haven't been. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna take a sponge. I'm gonna take a sponge, and I'm gonna try to shear that out a little bit. Holy smokes! So I may end up having to use a little bit of a brush to clear that up. That is super, super, super duper, uber pigmented. Let's just say this never oxidizes, ever. Let's just say that you can buy this, it never dries up, it never oxidizes. I think if you got this for a baby shower, they would have this all of their life. I mean, I don't know how you would ever go through the whole thing. So, all right. Okay, so thank goodness for sponges. So that is extreme pigment, and it is also very, very pretty. So I love pink. Oh my gosh, that is so, wow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take what's left on the brush. I was gonna put a little on my hand and then dab the brush in there. I decided I don't need to do that because there's plenty left on this brush. So let's go in and see if I can get it. So it's dried a little bit. It's very still, oh my gosh, you guys. Wow, that is something else. Dang. Okay. So you guys know me. If you've been watching my videos, you know how I like to blush over everything. I like to add color down here, probably a little bit up here, even though I am going to use a little bit of bronzer. But oh my, be warned. The pigment. I want to put this on my sister. I want to see how this looks on her fair complexion. So if you look at this brush right here, you can see where the two dots are, where it initially touched the pigment on my face, where I just dotted it. Like a little bite mark there or something. Okay. I might add a little more here. I might. Because it feels like this side's still a lot heavier. But I'm scared. All right. The only way that I know how to control it is micro dot. Micro. Uber micro. Microscopic. I'm just gonna like tap. But this has just dropped itself right into my blush hall of fame. It is just amazing. I got a streak there. What the heck? Got a streak. Some kind of streak. What is that? That's weird. What is that? It's a weird streak. Anyway, okay. Okie doke. In case you didn't hear what I said, Juvia's Place cream blush in the shade, this is the shade Pink Lady, and I have absolutely every intention of picking up more of these colors. They are absolutely stunning, just beautiful. I feel like I need to get a little color on my lips right now, and then I'm gonna pop on some eyeshadow and mascara and complete the look. Probably fast forward this. This is the NYX Professional Makeup Lip Pencil in the shade Pale Pink. And then I'm gonna take this NYX Butter Gloss, yum yum, kind of matches my shirt. This is Creme Brulee. I'm gonna get into my ColourPop Blush Crush, and I'm gonna start out by using my BS Mall crease brush, and I think I'm gonna start with cheek to cheek. I'm gonna use this same brush, I just wiped it off, and I'm gonna go in with, this is the shade Lovesick, and just pop that on there. Okay, I'm using the same brush, and I'm going to add some shimmer. So I think what I'm going to do is go in with Enamored right here. One thing about ColourPop shadows is I feel like the, ooh, that's really pretty. I feel like the mattes get more of a payout quicker than maybe the shimmers. I feel like sometimes. No! Let go! You would think I would learn. You'd think I'd learn. Dang, you are sneaky. Anyway, I feel like I've got to kind of go over the area a little bit more with the shimmers than I do with the matte shades, but that also might just depend on the brush that I'm using. So, but that's been consistently my experience. Anyway, so that's really pretty. That's Enamored. Just enough shimmer. I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Bite Size in Love You Latte with this darkest shade here. I love to use this for eyeliner. By the way, this is a Zova brow line brush, 322 brow line Zova. I've just got some of these odd brushes that I've never heard of before that work perfectly well. Okay, Okay, I'm just gonna go off camera and apply my e.l.f. Lash and Roll, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Now I am just gonna use some of my Fiera setting powder with this little finger sponge here. My eyes, gently pressing my nose. The very last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bronzer. I'm going to use this little e.l.f. Kabuki brush, going in with my Physicians Formula Dream Team face palette, and I'm going to use my favorite butter bronzer here in the matte, and I'm going to be careful, I don't want to sweep too much. Disturb too much of what I've done, but I do really like a bronzer. I love me some bronzer, especially this butter bronzer. It's just absolutely lovely. I am being very conservative with it though, because I want to keep that beautiful pink blush as the star of the show. So that is a weird streak right there. That's just so weird. I mean, I've got one there, but that's super weird. What the heck is that? Anyway, so the foundation and the blush, very happy with it. I will also be mixing that blush with some other cream blushes that I have. I love to mix. I love to mix things up and see what I can get out of it. So anyways, thank you very much for stopping by. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, if you'd be ever so inclined. Anyways, Happy New Year, everybody, and I will see you next time.